Success comes only after failure. Victory comes only after a fight. Solution comes only after a problem. If there's no problem, there's nothing called solution. If there's no failure, there's nothing called success. So people have to understand that in this world, God did not give us tables. He put the table in the tree for us to go and cut the tree and get the table out of it. So if we are waiting to get a table when the tree is there, you are a joker. Now, Nelly, I've seen a lot of pain in my life. A lot of pain. The story you just referred to. I used to, after my first degree, I started farming. I used to export vegetables to London. And then one day, 25-acre plot. My foreman went and sprayed, mistakenly, wrong chemicals on the land. And within 2 weeks, everything had burnt. And those days, I was not smart. I was not a smart entrepreneur. So I had all my little money I had in that investment. And everything went. I was sitting in my office when they came to disconnect my light. What you guys call here, omome. Not from the meter, but from the pole. Okay? I was on the phone, on the landline phone like this talking when the line was disconnected because I didn't have money to pay for it. I had to let all my staff go home. I packed all my stuff and went to. That was the moment where my kids came looking for school fees. And I couldn't. Now, if a father could see a 6-year-old daughter come ask you for school fees and you can't, if that's not emotional enough, then I don't know what it is. That was my first experience. I remember my wife was pregnant with my second daughter, and I woke her up one morning at 3:30 a.m. and I said, if I commit suicide, what will you do? My wife said, you're a coward. Go out there and face the world. This was in 1996.
She told you that?
My wife told me that. In fact, if you read this book, Unraveling the Secrets, this book I wrote it from my stomach. This is one of my best books. The autobiography is fine, but this for me is a reflection of my pain. I remember those years I borrowed money from Christian brothers. Now if you read this book, one of those Christian brothers wrote to me, this is his letter. He said, I will put Christianity aside and collect my money. It's in the book.
Typical African.
You get the point?
Yes.
Now, there was a lady I employed from the street, took her to go and learn typing. Those days we were using typewriter. During 1936, when I couldn't pay her salary, he took me to court. We had to go and negotiate and take it out of court. And eventually I had to pay. You see, you can never succeed in life without pain. Without pain. That's why when I see these young guys who come out of university, first year, second year, they want to drive expensive cars. I laugh. Don't pursue things. Rather, develop yourself in pursuit of a goal, and things will follow you. Let me repeat myself. And in case you're watching this program, I want you to understand my language. Rather than getting out there to pursue things, material things, pursue personal development. Set yourself a clear goal or agenda or objective or vision, and I guarantee you, in 3 years' time, all the things that you are pursuing now, they will start pursuing you. Because in life, if you program your life, every other thing will follow you. But if you don't, life will program you, and you'll be shocked what you become. So yes, I've seen a lot of pain. I told you about in London when I was cleaning the toilet. I was a graduate. And in 1996, I lost everything. What many people don't know. Listen to me, Lenny. 3 years ago, I was sitting in my office like this when I felt something move in my hand. And I neglected it. 45 minutes later, I couldn't lift this hand. The long and short of it, when they took me to the hospital, I got a blood clot in my left side of my brain, which resulted in mild stroke. For almost 2 years, I was at home. I couldn't do anything. I had a choice to say to myself, I'm not going to do anything. But I decided, with or without a stroke, mild stroke, the doctor said you couldn't walk, you couldn't talk, you couldn't drive, you couldn't write, you couldn't do anything. said to myself, I have a dream, I have a goal, I have a passion. I'm not going to allow predicament to stop me in pursuit of my dreams and life. That is how come I was able, of course, with the medical attention, the medication, but mentally, I said to myself, I'm going to break the back of maelstrom. And that's how, by God's grace, I'm able to sit in front of you and talking to you like the way I'm talking. I've lost a lot of money. I've lost businesses. I've lost great things in life. But listen to me. Those things don't make me. What makes me is the vision I set for myself. And as long as I have blood inside of me, as long as I have a dream to pursue, let me tell you, Nelly, any man who has a goal, who has a dream, when he begins to pursue that dream, that person becomes unstoppable. Nothing in the world can stop that person. It's like a mother hen. I don't know about Uganda, whether you guys have mother, the hen that is from the village, the one that lays eggs, not the poultry one. When you look at mother hen will lay eggs, and mother hen will sit on those eggs for 21 days. During that time, if you tell mother hen, come and eat maize, mother hen will tell you, I don't want to eat the maize. If you want me to eat, bring it to me. Why? Mother hen knows that after 21 days, those eggs will no longer be eggs because there's life in those eggs.
Yeah.
Your goal in life becomes your egg. If you incubate on it, trust me, it may delay because of circumstances. It may delay because of crookedness. It may delay because of the environment you find yourself in. But trust me, that dream will speak. And that is something that I believe that young people in Africa need to understand. That let's stop pursuing things, material things, and pursue goals and visions in life. And I guarantee you, those things you are looking for will pursue it. I'm sorry, whenever I start talking about these things.
But you're actually tackling the very gist of the show, elevation show, because that is exactly what we are talking about. How do we come from the pitfalls? How do we come from being cowards and get ourselves there? Now, this is getting emotional.
You just have to understand, Ellie, that if the going was easy, there will never be anything called success. Success comes only after failure. Victory comes only after a fight. Solution comes only after a problem. If there's no problem, there's nothing called solution. If there's no failure, there's nothing called success. If there's no problem, there's nothing. You see, so people have to understand that in this world, God did not give us tables. He put the table in the tree for us to go and cut the tree and get the table out of it. So if we are waiting to get a table when the tree is there, you are a joker. And Africans, young Africans, graduate Africans need to understand that success is hard work, and perseverance, and determination. You cannot achieve anything you are not willing to die for. Otherwise, you become a product of the environment. That is what success is all about.
And the genesis of the elevation chapter is to help us sit exactly where you're seated and say, we actually want to get the table out of the tree. So how do we take the step 1, step 2, so that we can get that table finally?
I think
yes, you were sick and you talked about, how you were almost down for 2 years and you talked to yourself. I can imagine how you talk to yourself. I can imagine the voice that you used to talk to yourself. I can imagine the energy you used to get up and you say, I am going to break the back of the stroke.
I think for me, Nelly, I'll tell you this. People, number one, need to set themselves goals. People have said ambition is not good. A little bit of ambition is energetic and it's very, very important. We must have a desire to move beyond where we are. This idea of it's okay, I've seen here, when I come to Uganda, it's okay. There must be that sense of urgency in us. If you don't have a sense of urgency, nothing promotes, nothing stimulates you, nothing inspires you. There's nothing that is stirring you up. to want to go and achieve something. So yes, that setting yourself a vision is key. Number two, create a sense of agency inside of you. People must appreciate the fact that what you have achieved so far is no longer your potential. There's always a potential inside of you. So if I set myself to write this book and I wrote this book, it doesn't mean I'm finished. It means there's more books that can be written after this book. That's why I've written 14 books and I have a lot more coming out. So create a sense of agency in your life. And number three, live within your means. Listen, I was shocked one day in Uganda. I was going somewhere and I saw somebody driving a Mercedes Benz. And he had run out of fuel. And he had to wait for somebody to go and bring him a gallon. You are destroying the car. You are actually killing the engine of the car. If you can't afford the fuel to run a Mercedes Benz, why do you go and buy a Mercedes Benz? Please.
Prestige.
People have said, cut your coat according to your size. I said, that's the wrong notion. If your size is, let's say, if you're a large size, or what you call me, you are extra size, and your dress code, your size, the size of your cloth can only cover your waist, and they say cut your coat according to your size, it means you are going to have to borrow extra cloth to cover yourself. No, I tell people, cut your coat according to your cloth. If the size of your cloth is 2 yards, and that is all you have for now, live your life within that 2 yards of cloth. Don't live above your means. Because see, if you're going to pursue a dream and you don't know how to live by what Paul said in the Bible, how to abound and how to abase, and you want to live your life to please people, you can never achieve anything in life. Listen, there was a time in my life, me sitting here, I own companies. I could not even buy underwear to wear. And I'm telling the gospel truth. I couldn't buy. When I came to Uganda, I rented a property, 2-bedroom. Don't believe it, for 3 years. I was living in one of those rooms, whilst the office was still in that building. I could have afforded. But you know, there's something we call organic growth. If you jump before you start walking, you break your teeth.
Right.
Okay? And I've seen people living to please human beings. No successful person. In this book, there's a principle I've taught in this book. It's called cut, save, and invest. There are people who have built houses in their stomach. There are people who have built story buildings on their body. If you look at the hairdo, the wig the person is wearing alone is called Brazilian hair. But he doesn't even have a passport. So people are living above their means. You can never become successful. And then, finally, what I'll tell people, this one doesn't work for me. Be prayerful. Be prayerful. And I don't mean go to church or become this and that. Just acknowledge the fact that there's a spiritual being who is more superior than you. That when you go back to him, in times of difficulty, in times of stress, in times of, where you know that you are just about throwing the towel, rather than crying, go on your knees. Call on that God. And that God that says that they that wait upon me shall renew their strength, and it shall give them wings to fly like the eagle. Nelly, it has worked for me.
Has that been the biggest principle?
I can prescribe that to every young person, every Ugandan who wants to break the back of poverty. Develop what we call spiritual capital. It works. It has worked for me. It works. And if I may add another one, treat human beings like yourself. I don't call my driver. When I travel with my driver, we sit on the same table. It doesn't change me. It doesn't. It doesn't. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And love people. Because no matter how big your dream is, you can never achieve it all by yourself. And people don't care how much you have unless they know you care about them. And if you love people, they will die for you. And for me, that's what brought me where I am. It doesn't mean I'll never encounter challenges. It doesn't mean I'll never encounter pain. But even if I fall today, I know and I have what it takes to pick myself up again. Because listen to me, in life, Ellie, if you don't know why you are doing the things you are doing, anything can divert your attention. And for me, I lead a very, very simple but very, very focused life. I don't need to be everywhere, because if I want to be everywhere, I cannot achieve the dream that I've set for myself. That's what my life is. And that's what has brought me where I am. Nothing more, nothing less.
Wow.